check, 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need, get over the fear, and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello everybody, Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Today we have podcast number 280. And it is 5 questions sent in by real estate investors. And remember, if you have a question, send it to support@michaelquarles.com. One more time, support@michaelquarles.com. Here we go. Question number 1. I have a very hot lead from an elderly lady. I went through all the questions in the script 1, and she's ready to sell and is motivated at a price I want. However, after she sent me pictures, I realized it may be a manufactured home and a mobile home park. Do I treat this like I do a standard single-family residence? No. I don't like mobile homes. Some people do. The only time that I really like a mobile home is if it's a really hot market, and so it's a seller's market. I know everything's selling, so I'll buy a mobile home then. But even in those cases, I want to buy the land with it. Strap it down to the land so it becomes real property, not a motor vehicle. I just don't like them other than in that condition. So absolutely don't treat it like a single family. Confirm that there aren't any age requirements in the park. Confirm how hard it's going to be for you to qualify someone to be a tenant in that park, that kind of thing. Even when you sell it to somebody, they're a tenant because they're renting park space. So yeah, don't treat it like that. You may just want to punt. Question number 2. After marketing to a seller, if you find that they have listed their property with a real estate professional, do you continue to market to them or take them off the list and put them in your database to follow up at a later date? Well, I'm going to put them in my database to follow up with them at a later date anyway, 15, 30, 60, 90. And no, I'm not going to take them off my list because I don't take anybody off my list. I learned the hard way. I had a lady asked me to take her off my list. I took her off my list. And then she sold to another real estate investor, and he made like $60,000 on the house. And I actually looked her up and called her back, and she said, "Sorry, Mike, we decided to sell after all." And I had stopped marketing to her, and so she couldn't call me back. So I learned never, ever to take someone off the list, and I'm just going to continue to market it to them, and I'm going to put them in my call follow-up systems for the Alexes to, again, to call them back at 15, 30, 60, and 90. Great question.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 3. When your primary business is assigning for now, can you discuss the benefits of becoming a realtor? What limitation does a realtor create? Well, realtor is it's a membership. So you're a member in what they call the board of realtors. I think you're referring to a licensee, so an agent or a broker. And in the assigning business, boy, I want to stay clear of that license in the assignment business, because in the beginning of your agent career, you may not know how to protect yourself from a non-agency relationship perspective. You're going to drag your broker in some of these deals with you because your license is hung under their license. That's how it works. And so, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to get my license if I was going to be assigning. Now, if I was going to be wholesaling, fix and flipping, absolutely get your license. I mean, there's a lot of benefit. But go straight for the broker's license if you have your 4-year college degree. If you don't, then you're going to have to wait the 2 years and then get your broker's license. Yeah, as a fix and flipper or wholesaler, absolutely get your license. I don't like realtor status if I'm not a realtor, quote unquote, active agent or broker. So no one can hire me to sell a house or buy them a house. So I don't need realtor status because I don't need the National Association of Realtors. I don't need their their hotlines or anything like that. I'm a broker that gives me what I need to have. I'm a member of the MLS, so I can put my properties there. I can search for properties from there, that kind of thing. Gives me all the benefits I need. I'm just not a realtor. I didn't join that membership. Think about straight to brokerage, but if you're going to assign, I wouldn't get a license at all. Question number 4, can we talk a little bit about the legalities of assigning? I know each state is different, and you're not an attorney. I am not an attorney, so I can't give you legal advice, but here's what I can tell you. Easiest way, I know this seems kind of silly because I coach, easiest way to determine what you can and cannot do in your states as it relates to assigning is to call your state's Bureau of Real Estate or Department of Real Estate and let them know what your intention is. Call them up. That's what they're there for. They're to protect your rights just like they're there to protect your neighbor's rights. They will absolutely communicate with you. They're not like villains. They're not going to, think negatively about you. They're going to actually think you're responsible by calling them in the first place. Call them up. Say, hey, I want to be an investor and I'm wanting to know what I can legally do from an assignment perspective in my state. And they're going to say what you can do. They're going to tell you. And get them to send you an email. Memorialize it. Great. Now you know. Because here's what I know. In California, if you assign more than 8 contracts a year, it's against the law. Unless you have a licensee attached to it. So if you have a real estate agent that's helping you, you can assign as many as you want because there's a licensee attached to it. But if you're not, you can't do more than 8. Some areas you can't do any. And in California, please do not use the piece of property and do an open house and, hey, everybody, I got this open house and I'm selling the contract to purchase it. No, you're acting like a real estate agent if you do silly things like that. So here's what you do. Again, call your Bureau of Real Estate, Department of Real Estate for your state and ask them. They're going to give you the guidelines. They're going to give you better guidelines than an attorney can give you because a lot of attorneys don't know. And yes, you can assign a contract. Yes, there's no doubt in my mind you can assign a contract. But in some states, how you do that and the type of contract you assign requires certain attachments to it, like a real estate professional being attached to it. And again, if you do 8 or more, you're violating the Department of Real Estate requirement unless you're a licensee or have a licensee attached. So call your Bureau of Real Estate. Question number 5. What real estate strategy out of wholesaling, fix and flipping, subject to and seller financing has the most risk in it? And do you have an example of the worst case scenarios that you or someone you know has had to deal with? I'd like to know what to expect in order to be better prepared and what is the best case time frame from a seller signing the contract to close. That's an interesting question. Well, you didn't include signing, so we're going to not talk about assigning, but you said wholesaling, which is buying the property low, selling the property low, so you're selling it less than value to somebody that's going to do whatever they're going to do to it. Wholesaling, that means you're buying the property, so you're actually taking title, low, but you're selling it as is value, so you're selling it what it's worth, but not fixed and flipped. Then you say fix and flip, and that's buying it hopefully low, fixing it up, and then reselling it at a ARV value, and then subject to and seller financing. Those really aren't standalone methods because you can have subject to and seller financing and wholesaling and fix and flip. So they don't there's fruit and vegetables here. So, wholesaling, and fix and flip go together. Subject to and seller financing kind of go together. Which one is the worst? I think wholesaling's the worst, but not because you could do anything wrong, but I guess you could do something wrong with every real estate transaction, but I don't mean it like that. I don't like wholesaling because you're giving away too much money. I like wholesaling and fix and flipping because you're making the maximum return. Risk and subject to, probably from a risk perspective, subject to has the most risk because, of course, the lender could call the due on sell clause. Probably not going to happen, but they could. Let's face it. And especially big risk there if you're reselling subject to. So you're buying subject to and then reselling subject to. There's some risk there. And I don't like that one. And then there's risk involved in subject to if you're doing marginal sub to deals. So if there's a bucket load of equity in it and you buy it subject to and you get that loan called You go and get some equity loan and pay off the underlying sub 2 loan. Well, if it's a marginal sub 2, 70 or 80 cents on the dollar, well, you can only hard money or equity 65 cents, so you'd have to put in 15 cents. So there's risk there, and if you don't cure the loan, they'll just foreclose and ruin the seller's credit that you bought it from, and then you're going to lose your equity position that you had in the property. So there's risks there. I like wholesaling. I really like wholesaling. I don't like wholesaling. I used to love fix and flipping. I loved fix and flipping. I could tell you where every size nail or screw or bolt or 2x4 or door or window it was in Home Depot and Lowe's. They knew me. I like Norman Cliff from Cheers. They knew me by first name. I was at Home Depot and Lowe's so much, but I don't like it as much anymore. It's a lot of work. Anyway, great questions, guys. That last one was really good. I think I might want to turn that into a big old podcast. That'd be a fun one because I could take an hour on that. A group of 3 guys or gals, one take wholesaling, one take wholetailing, one take fix and flipping, ask them a bunch of questions. That'd be fun. Anyway, I'm rambling on again. Sorry about that. Remember, if you would like to get in the real estate investment business and you want to do it legally, morally, and ethically, and in reverse order, because I always think that if you do things ethically and morally, legal should fall in line, and you wanted to learn it at a high pace, make sure everything's covered. We do 50 classes a month right now. Get an accountability coach. You can ask me anytime you have a question. You get a call CRM system so you can keep track of everything. We can use our call center for answering your phones. Soon to come out with our text blast and telephone system that's going to be included. And so we're doing some really good stuff to help you guys and gals become profitable and maintain profitability, because that's really what it's all about. Actually, that's not necessarily true. It's not about profitability, although that has a big component in what I'm going to say. It's about helping somebody at some point in your life do something that they can't do for themselves. That's what it's about, for me anyway. When you create enough wealth and you have enough security that you can think beyond what you need and help folks who want to do what you do, who just don't have the ability, maybe they don't have the funds, they don't have this or they don't have that. I've priced my coaching program at a price point. Basically it's $11.97 for 6 months or $247 a month for 6 months. If you think about the price point and what you get as it compares to some of the other great coaches that are out there, I priced at that point so that I can do it, so I can give it to you. I can cover my expenses of my staff. It's not a profit center for me. I absolutely want you to succeed at real estate investing and learn it from someone who's currently doing it. Like we put a house under contract pretty much every day, sometimes multiple houses. Gosh, if you want to jump on board, holler at us and get on board. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.